Το Πανεπιστήμιο Κύπρου σας καλωσορίζει στην 5η Ετήσια Διάλεξη μνήμη του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Ο μιλητής της 5ης Ετήσιας Διάλεξης θα είναι σε λίγο αρχιτέκτονας και πολεοδόμος, Διευθύνων Σύμβουλος της Εταιρείας Ateliermob, Tiago Mota Saraiva. Ο κύριος Saraiva θα αναπτύξει το θέμα Architecture Working with the 99%. Την εκδήλωση θα χαιρετήσουν ο καθηγητής Κωνσταντίνος Χριστοφίδης Πρίτανης του Πανεπιστημίου Κύπρου και η κυρία Λεώνη Παρασκευαϊδη Μαυρονικόλα εκ μέρους της οικογένειας Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Καλείται ο Πρίτανης του Πανεπιστημίου Κύπρου, καθηγητής Κωνσταντίνος Χριστοφίδης, να προσέλθει στο βήμα για να χαιρετήσει την εκδήλωσή μας. Κύριε Πρίτανη, το βήμα δικό σας.
Καλησπέρα σας. Κυρίες και κύριοι, αξιότιμοι κύριοι πρέσβεις, εκλεκτοί προσκεκλημένοι, αγαπητές φοιτήτες, αγαπητοί φοιτητές, αγαπητά μέλη της οικογένειας Παρασκευαϊδη, αγαπητή Λεώνη, χαιρόμαστε πολύ που είστε απόψε μαζί μας. Αγαπητέ προσκαλεσμένοι μας. Συμπληρώθηκαν τον Οκτώβριο του 2016 100 χρόνια. Ένας αιώνας από τη γέννηση του γόγου του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Βρισκόμαστε σήμερα εδώ για 5η χρονιά για να τιμήσουμε έναν άνθρωπο αυτοδημιούργητο, με βαθιά αγάπη για την πατρίδα, την οικογένειά του και τον άνθρωπο. Με την ετήσια διάλεξη μνήμη του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη συναντιόμαστε για να αντλήσουμε έμπνευση από το παράδειγμά του, από τη στάση ζωής του, από την δύναμη της φαντασίας του και την προσήλωσή του στην τέχνη τη δημιουργή, την αρχιτεκτονική. Η σημερινή συνάντηση είναι ακόμη μια ευκαιρία για να του πούμε ένα μεγάλο ευχαριστώ για όσα πρόσφερε στην πατρίδα του. Είναι ο καλύτερος τρόπος να κρατήσουμε ζωντανή τη μνήμη του. Ο Γεώργιος Παρασκευαϊδης ταξίδεψε την Κύπρο σε όλο τον κόσμο και διεύρυνε τα σύνορά της με έναν πρωτόγνωρο και δημιουργικό τρόπο. Ελάχιστη λοιπόν υποχρέωσή μας είναι να θυμόμαστε το παράδειγμά του, να μεταλαμπαδεύουμε στους νεότερους το πάθος για τη δημιουργία, την τόλμη του να επιχειρεί και να καινοτομεί, ακόμα και σε δύσκολες εποχές, σε δύσκολες συνθήκες. Αυτή είναι η παρακαταθήκη του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη και οφείλουμε να μεταφέρουμε αυτό το πνεύμα και στα νέα παιδιά, στους φοιτητές μας. Πρόσωπα όπως ο Γιώργος Παρασκευαϊδης μας θυμίζουν ότι το μέλλον και η προοπτική κάθε χώρας είναι άκρητα συνδεδεμένα με την ποιότητα των ανθρώπων της, με την ακεραιότητα του χαρακτήρα τους και τις αξίες που καθοδηγούν τα έργα και τις πράξεις τους. Όσο υπάρχουν άνθρωποι σαν τον Γόγο, όσο εμπνεόμαστε από το παράδειγμα τέτοιων ανθρώπων, υπάρχει ελπίδα για ένα καλύτερο αύριο. Παρακολουθώντας την πορεία του, κατανοούμε ότι πραγματικά επιτυχημένος είναι ο άνθρωπος που συνδέει τη σκληρή εργασία για προσωπική διάκριση με την προσφορά στον τόπο και την ευημερία του συνόλου. Ο Γόγος απέδειξε με τη στάση ζωής του, με το παράδειγμα και τη σκληρή δουλειά του, τι σημαίνει να είσαι πραγματικός πατριώτης, τι σημαίνει να αγαπάς πραγματικά τον τόπο σου. Γιατί δεν είναι αγάπη προς την πατρίδα, η αδράνεια απέναντι στις προκλήσεις, η ατολμία, η αποποίηση ευθυνών, η σπατάλη του κρίσιμου χρόνου, η αναβλητικότητα και ο εφησυχασμός. Ο Γόγος αποδείκνει αυτό το αξίωμα καθημερινά. Η δική μας υπέρβαση, η υποχρέωση κάθε γνήσιου πατριώτη, όπως ήταν και ο Λαπιθιώτης, καταγόταν από το πιο όμορφο μέρος της Κύπρου. Γεώργιος Παρασκευαϊδης, είναι να γίνουμε καλύτεροι, για να δημιουργήσουμε μια Κύπρο ανοιχτή, με ποιότητα, με βάθος και με υψηλούς στόχους για το μέλλον. Αυτή θα είναι και ιστορική και προσωπική δικαίωση του Γόγου Παρασκευαϊδη και όλων των ανθρώπων που δημιούργησαν γενιά με γενιά έναν ολόκληρο και μοναδικό πολιτισμό σε αυτόν τον τόπο. Για να τιμήσουμε τη μνήμη του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη, φιλοξενούμε σήμερα τον Tiago Mota Saraiva. Το προφέρω σωστά. Από την Πορτογαλία. Θυμήθηκε μάλιστα και το Χαριστέα. Δεν το ξεχνάτε το Χαριστέα. Διευθύνοντα Σύμβουλο μιας διεπιστημονικής πλατφόρμας ανάπτυξης ιδεών στους τομείς της αρχιτεκτονικής, του σχεδιασμού και της πολεοδομίας. Το έργο που θα μας παρουσιάσει σήμερα, Working with the 99%, αυτό είναι πολύ σημαντικό για την εποχή μας, αποτελεί μια σημαντική πρωτοβουλία και είναι εγχείρημα επίλυσης μέσα από την αρχιτεκτονική κοινωνικο-οικονομικών προκλήσεων. Πρόκειται για ένα συνεταιρισμό που συνεργάζεται και παρέχει σε κοινότητες, χωρίς τους απαραίτητους πόρους, στήριξη στους τομείς του σχεδιασμού και της αρχιτεκτονικής, με στόχο την ανάπτυξή τους. Είναι μια πρωτοποριακή πρόταση ενδυνάμωσης οικονομικά αδυνάτων περιοχών. Άλλωστε, όλοι έχουμε δικαίωμα στη διαβίωση σε ένα όμορφο περιβάλλον και σε σωστές συνθήκες που να εμπνέουν τους κατοίκους να δημιουργούν και που να τους επιτρέπουν να απολαμβάνουν το χώρο διαβίωσής τους. Μια τέτοια παρουσίαση είναι σημαντική, ειδικά σε μια διάλεξη της μνήμη του Γεώργιου, ενός ανθρώπου που κατανοώντας την αξία της κοινωνικής συνεισφοράς συνέβαλε όσο λίγοι σε δύσκολες για τον τόπο συγκυρίες στη στήριξη των ανθρώπων του. Όλοι αναγνωρίζουμε τον έντονο ανταγωνισμό που επικρατεί στην εποχή μας, σε τοπικό και διεθνές επίπεδο. Ο Γενικός Διευθυντής της ΔΕΛ έγραφε ότι δεν υπάρχει πλέον θέση για αυτούς που αδυνατούν να προβούν σε σημαντικές αλλαγές και μετασχηματισμούς. Το μέλλον, γράφει, ανήκει στους προσαρμοστικούς, τους καινοτόμους, τους τολμηρούς, τους οραματιστές. Ο Γεώργιος Παρασκευαϊδης δεν ανάμενε τον Γενικό Διευθυντή της ΔΕΛ για να του εξηγήσει σε ποιους ανήκει το μέλλον. Άρπαξε την τύχη στα χέρια του. Πίστεψε στις δυνατότητές του και εξάντλησε όλα τα περιθώρια για να πετύχει. Άνοιξε νέους ορίζοντες μαζί με τον συνεργάτη του Στέλιο Ιωάννου και ταξίδεψε με το επιχειρηματικό του δαιμόνιο την Κύπρο σε όλο τον κόσμο. Και το Πανεπιστήμιο Κύπρου είναι ιδιαίτερη τιμή να διοργανώνει για ακόμη μια φορά, για ακόμη μια χρονιά, εκδήλωση στη μνήμη του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Και γι' αυτό ευχαριστούμε την οικογένεια του Γεώργιου και όλους όσοι συμμετέχουν κάθε φορά στο ετήσιο αυτό συναπάντημα, με το οποίο θυμόμαστε τον Γεώργιο Παρασκευαϊδη και την αγάπη του για την αρχιτεκτονική. Ολοκληρώνοντας, θέλω να απευθυνθώ στους φοιτητές μας. Σας παροτρύνω να εμπνευστείτε από ανθρώπους πρότυπα, όπως ο Γεώργιος Παρασκευαϊδης, από ανθρώπους οραματιστές που δεν συμβιβάστηκαν με τις συνθήκες ζωής τους, ανθρώπους που έζησαν μια ζωή, αλλά δημιούργησαν όσα να έδρασαν και έζησαν χιλιάδες ζωές. Απαντήστε κι εσείς δημιουργικά σε όσα πληγώνουν εσάς και τον τόπο μας, με το παράδειγμά σας, με την ευθεία και τα ταλέντα σας, όπως έπραξε ο Γεώργιος στην πιο δύσκολη ιστορική συγκυρία για τον τόπο. Δημιουργήστε λοιπόν, καινοτομήστε, επικοινωνήστε με τον κόσμο ολόκληρο. Γίνετε εσείς η όμορφη όψη της πατρίδας μας, η άλλη Κύπρος. Θα τελειώσω επαναλαμβάνοντας, ειδικά για τους νέους ανθρώπους, ότι το μέγεθος μιας χώρας δεν εξαρτάται από το μέγεθος του πληθυσμού της. Δεν εξαρτάται από το γεωγραφικό της μέγεθος. Το μέγεθος μιας χώρας εξαρτάται από το μέγεθος των μυαλών των νέων ανθρώπων της. Σας ευχαριστώ.
Ευχαριστούμε θερμά, κύριε Πρίτανη. Χαιρετισμό τώρα, κυρίες και κύριοι, θα απευθύνει η κυρία Λεώνη Παρασκευαϊδη Μαυρονικόλα, η οποία παρακαλείται να προσέλθει στο βήμα. Παρακαλώ.
Υψηλοί και εκλεκτοί προσκεκλημένοι, αγαπητοί φίλοι και φίλες, αγαπητοί φοιτητές. Εκ μέρους της οικογένειας μου και εμένα προσωπικά, θέλω να ευχαριστήσω το Πανεπιστήμιο Κύπρου και ιδιαίτερα τον πρίτανη κύριο Χριστοφίδη και τους συνεργάτες του για τη σημερινή πέμπτη εκδήλωση εις μνήμη του πατέρα μου. Συγκινητική και τιμητική για την οικογένειά μας είναι η πρωτοβουλία του Πανεπιστημίου Κύπρου και η παρουσία όλων εσάς σήμερα για να τιμήσουμε τη μνήμη του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Θερμές ευχαριστίες και προς τον καθηγητή αρχιτέκτονα και πολεοδόμο Tiago Mota Saraiva, Διευθύνοντα Σύμβουλο της Εταιρείας Ateliermob, μιας πρωτοποριακής διαπιστημονικής πλατφόρμας για την ανάπτυξη ιδεών, έρευνας και σχεδιασμού στους τομείς της αρχιτεκτονικής και πολεοδομίας, η οποία έχει διακριθεί παγκοσμίως και έχει βραβευτεί με διεθνή βραβεία. Επίσης, ο εκλεκτός ομιλητής είναι εξαιρετικός αρθογράφος και σύμβολος του Δημοτικού Συμβουλίου της Λισαβόνας για την εφαρμογή της Ατζέντας 21 για τον πολιτισμό. Η αρχιτεκτονική υπήρξε ένα κεφάλαιο για το οποίο ο Γεώργιος Παρασκευαϊδης είχε ιδιαίτερες ευαισθησίες. Πνεύμα πολυμαθή, ερευνητικό και κριτικό, κατήχε πολλές ιδιότητες πέρα της αρχιτεκτονικής. Η επικοινωνία μεταξύ των ανθρώπων σίγουρα αποτελεί μια από τις θεμέλιες βάσεις του πολιτισμού. Και η επικοινωνία ήταν ένα πολύ σημαντικό μέρος της ζωής του. Ήταν ένα από τα βασικά στοιχεία της επιτυχίας του. Εφάρμοζε τη συλλογική συζήτηση με τους στενούς του συνεργάτες προτού πάρει αποφάσεις και έκανε συχνές επισκέψεις σε όλες τις περιοχές που δραστηριοποιείται η εταιρεία του. Δημιούργησε προσωπικές σχέσεις και φιλίες ζωής που ακόμα και σήμερα συμβάλλουν θετικά στη δραστηριότητα της εταιρείας του στο εξωτερικό. Η αγάπη του για την πατρίδα του, τον πολιτισμό και τη φιλοσοφία ήταν το τρίπτυχο που σφάλισε την καρδιά του. Πίστευε ακράδαντα στις απεριόριστες δυνάμεις του ανθρώπου για εξέλιξη και απόκτηση γνώσεων. Ήταν η χαρά του να βλέπει νεαρά άτομα να προοδεύουν στις τέχνες και τις επιστήμες. Εμπιστευόταν τους νέους και τους έδινε πάντα την ευκαιρία να εργαστούν και να αποδείξουν τις ικανότητές τους. Η εκτέλεση μεγάλων και πολυδύναμων έργων τόσο στην Κύπρο όσο και στο εξωτερικό, κυρίως σε όλες τις χώρες του Αραβικού κόλπου, αλλά και στη Βόρεια Αμερική και Ευρώπη, είναι ένα σημαντικό κομμάτι της ιστορίας της εταιρείας και του Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Η επιτυχία αυτή έχει ασφαλίσει στη συνείδηση όλων ότι οι Κύπροι είναι εργατικοί, αντάξιοι τεχνίτες και επιστήμονες. Κλείνοντας, θέλω να ευχαριστήσω όλους όσους συνέβαλαν στην επιτυχία της σημερινής εκδήλωσης και για μια ακόμη φορά όλους εσάς για την παρουσία σας εδώ σήμερα. Σας ευχαριστώ.
Σας ευχαριστούμε, κυρία Λεώνη. Προχωρούμε τώρα με την παρουσίαση του ομιλητή από τον Πρόεδρο του Τμήματος Αρχιτεκτονικής, αναπληρωτή καθηγητή Σοκράτη Στρατή. Κύριε Στρατή, ο λόγος σε εσάς.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to speak in English. Dear Mrs. Leoni Paraskevaidu, dear Mr. Mavronicolaas, dear Rector, dear Ambassadors, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. When you open the website of the Ateliermob, of which Tiago Mota Saraiva is managing partner since 2005, you can just see it on the screen. You see that big image with people walking in the fields, and you see a series of text about Ateliermob's activities. It says design participatory methods, anti-gentrification strategies, pedestrian-friendly streets, contribution to architecture of necessity in Sweden, and lots of other projects. And then you begin to realize that Tiago's architectural practice goes beyond building design, as you're probably most familiar with when you hear the word architect. And I think what's really important is to see how his work investigates the agency of architecture, its social and political dimensions. Tiago comes from Portugal with a degree in architecture, specialized in architecture, territory, and memory. He worked in Lisbon, Rome, and Vicenza since 1995. He has been invited to teach at various schools of architecture, such as Universitate Moderna in 2007 and FA UTL 2007-08. And he's member of the Architects Board National Association since 2001. Tiago has been curator of various exhibitions, such as International Celebration of Cities competition, and he's currently president of a cooperative working with the 99%, what he's going to talk about tonight, which in fact he's referring to these 99% of the society that cannot afford architectural advices. So that's quite an interesting part and about Portugal. So Ateliermob is a multidisciplinary platform for the development of ideas, research, and projects in architecture, design, and urbanism. And Tiago's work through Ateliermob has been with regular presence in international exhibitions, forums, networks, and in fact published a lot. I met Tiago last summer in June in an international conference in Athens called Autonoma. And we had the chance to exchange ideas about how architects should begin to look at this 99% that he's talking about. And usually it goes below the radar of architecture. So it's a great pleasure to have him with us today. So please help me to give him a warm welcome.
Well, I will start by normally what's in the end, but I will start by saying and thank you for these incredible days and organization of the University of Cyprus, and also from the invitation of the family of Mr. Paraskevides. I think I was trying to. So and also thank you for hosting this and for having these incredible activities that I saw in these couple of days, that and to felt so well warmed, hosted by Socrates. So thank you very much for these pleasant 2 days that I have been here. Well, I will start by politics. So it's important also to understand how this thing of working with the 99 started to get real in our practice, because we are a studio from 2005, since 2005, and in 2011, from 2011 to 12. There was a big political change in Portugal, not only a change of the two governments, that was from the center left to the center right, but we also have an agreement with the so-called, with an austerity program of Troika. So this made us have a kind of an analysis of data of what was happening in Portugal. So this was the unemployment rates during that time. Also, according to Eurostat, the country was one-fourth of the country was considered poor. So, and there was a huge problem of home loan default. So there is this process of that I think also happens here, that people started to buy and to get loans to buy houses, and the loan default was getting bigger and bigger until 2012. Well, it happened until still now, but this is the, I want you to understand more or less the economical situation that was happening then. And also the second thing was the speech of architects about their practice. So this is Álvaro César Vieira, which is the most well-known Portuguese architect, and he's the Pritzker Prize Award. He was the first one to be. So we have the second one that had more or less the same speech as Álvaro César had, and the idea was that, well, César was complaining about having no work to do, no project to be done, and also saying that the new generation has to emigrate. And in a certain way, and there was the idea was that there was no architecture to be done. And we, in a certain way, posted two questions around this theme. That if there is no architecture to be done in Portugal, or if is architecture useless during crisis. So that was the main questions that we posted. If, okay, everyone is in crisis, of course. For example, the speech of César was also a kind of getting, in a certain way, showing a huge gap in between people that were living miserable, so that have sometimes no money to pay for basic needs, and the architects that were complaining about having no job. And the thing was that we started to look around and seeing how many work of architectural was to be done, and the big issue for us started to be, okay, the problem is that we don't have is that people don't have architectural needs, but there is no money to pay for these basic services of architecture. That's how we started to think on working Winter 99 around 2010. Well, because I must say that it's from 2005 that we started the office. We were a quite typical office the way that we get our jobs were quite typical as it happens here or in Portugal. We apply for competitions, we win or not win, but and we had until 2008 or 9 we had jobs, normal jobs, mostly public works, and mostly, well, they were running, and it was running pretty much okay. But the thing was that from 2009 until 2011, the work started to stop, the public invested started to stop, and also the competition starts to be quite rare. And then this idea of working Winter 99, it's not working as the basic. Well, the basic system of working, you have a client, you have the architectural and the technicians, so the architectural, the engineers, and then you have the contractor, so the one who builds it. We, in a certain way, add a fourth factor on this equation, saying, okay, there might also be someone that will finance. And from one day that we were very engaged doing competitions, for example, we started to do a kind of programs of financing. So we started to design programs with communities that had architectural problems, and we started to apply it for finance. So one thing that I must say that we always leave it very clear is that we don't work for free. So they will know how much we will be paid for, but because it will be public in the applications, but we never work for free. We start our work as a program, but then we get finance to build and to also for our fees. It started a little bit by this neighborhood, that is product neighborhood. This neighborhood was it was a slum that was created in the 40s, during the 40s in the city of Lisbon. So because of the process of migrations from the interior of the country, and it was called the Chinese neighborhood, only because there was no Chinese, so only because of the organization, very well like this. And product neighborhood was a self-constructed neighborhood that was built in the 70s, where people could go out from this shanty town and could build their houses, even though well they were authorized to build it, but they were not. The situation was never legalized. That was our first work on the north part of the neighborhood, to regularize the houses, which were they were all different, and we stood there for 1 or 2 years to entering in all the houses and getting all the paperwork. The thing was that it was quite funny, because people were always saying, okay, but my house is there. Why do I need an architect? Because my house is there. So, and we have to explain what were all the. Well, I always use this expression in these assemblies that was a kind of, we have to apply for you to have an ID of the house. That was the passport of the house. So, but after this process of 2 years, 1 year and a half more or less, they said, okay, but you're going, but we have another architectonical needs. So step by step, we applied for okay, they define what do they need to do in the public spaces, and we organized a program that was also very important, because there were a lot of people that were getting unemployed and with low resources, and we organized a kind of a system of young people could work from the neighborhood, could work on on the interventions, they also decide. And also we could get together on this, all of this process. The biggest companies of cement, for example, Cecil, worked with us, giving formation to the people, telling them how to use their materials, and the people from also the painting this like 15 people were engaged and also had an extra income, which was another thing that was quite relevant, because when we applied, we defined that 50% of the application was to be spent in wages, in wages for these people. So it was very funny. It's also very interesting how it's being maintained, because no one really, no one writes anything on these walls, because they keep it quite. So that's a process that is well run quite well, as you can see it. Well, in the south part, in the north part of the north part was the first phase of this self-constructed project of neighborhood, but in the south part, it's much bigger. So if in the north it was 88 houses, so there were more or less 200, 300 people living. On the south part, there were 458 houses, so around 2,500 people living, with a very, well, they are very participatory. I must say that, as, for example, the Council for Housing in Lisbon told me the other day, that she had never been in such a participated neighborhood as here in the south part, because they always organize these meetings with like 300 people, which is quite impressive. So we started also to do the same thing, because it was not regularized. And one thing is that it's also tricky to understand the relationship they had with the architects, were mainly architects from the municipality. And the architects from the municipality were always talking about, when there was the first master plan in Lisbon in the 90s, this area was all established as green area. So architects went there saying, we have to demolish your house. So the relationship they have with architects was not very, very good. Step by step, we started also to get rid of the stigma also on architects. And this is the basic thing. We have also a kind of, we also helped a lot the municipality to do the master plan of the area, saying, recognizing what are the green houses. So the green houses, it's the houses that have to be, that can be approved like that. The yellow ones are the ones that we think that they can be approved, but it might have some changes, and the red ones were the ones that we understood that it has to be changes. That has also to be, we organize a kind of assessment. Just imagine in 2 years you have to get in all the houses. On this case, in the south part, there was, since we had to do the north part, it did run pretty much well. From the 458 houses, 452 applied to this process. So they only have to pay 50 euros. It was a kind of because we were supported by other funds, different funds that we got it to do this process. So, and then it happened also the same. So after we finished this process, they asked us, okay, but are you going? We also want to do the works on our public space as the other ones did. So this we all organized. We had a meeting, a huge meeting also. We organized a participatory process. We defined 8 projects. They knew how much will it cost, each one of the projects, and they could rank this. So what was really funny is that from the 8 projects, the one that won, the one that arrived first, got 80 votes. The one that arrived last, the 8th, got 40 votes. So it was really funny. In the end, we just said to the municipality, we have to do all, because it has a very nice expression. This is and this is the project that won for the first. So we already accomplished to do the one that arrived first from this participatory process, but also the second, the third, and the fourth that is now closing. But this was the first. They wanted a kind of amphitheatrum that was built by them. It was really interesting process, because this was, for them it was tough construction. So we have the engineers of the cement company, Cecil, working with us all the mornings they pass through. So, and this is the first day with the Paula Marques, which is the Council of Housing in Lisbon, and well, the president of the Neighbors Association. Well, this I won't talk much. In this program, we had another experience in Milan, in this neighborhood also, and this was an exhibition of this kind of experience that we did on Lisbon, and this also took us being part of the 14th Venice Biennale about this thing of informal, that we are now working out a lot on this kind of construction. And Basilicata work on participatory process. I don't have much to say. And now more and more people started, as for example on this process, people came from a neighborhood in Lisbon that stood in between two areas, very developed, but they stood in between with no idea what was going to happen. And they came to us. One of the questions that a lot of people pose us is that, how do you arrive to a neighborhood? And normally right now it's more that people come to us asking for help. And this is a project that I will show, that we are doing it over these days. Well, Marvila, it's the area in Lisbon where it's in the oriental part of Lisbon, and it was the area of where it was the big industry. So it has a lot of industry of wine, of distribution, the wine, not the wine itself, but not the grapes, but the distribution. It has also a very huge fabric of soap, and it's not there anymore, so it's not working anymore. So the former workers stood there like waiting for other development. On the nearby to the river, there's already a process of new people coming, and also an artistic area. It will be the spot on the next years in Lisbon with these fantastic buildings. But it's also this I will not translate it, but it's also, you have to think that Marvila, it's also the area where all the big projects in Lisbon were concentrated in 2010, in the master plan of 2010. So we had the biggest hospital in Portugal was planned to be built there. The third bridge to the other side of the river was supposed to start from there, and also the massive process of new construction was also supposed to happen over there. However, so banks, for example, were buying a lot of plots, and mostly one bank that bankruptcy during these days that went bankruptcy, and now we have in this area, for example, a lot of American funds that we cannot even, and it's changing so much the ownership that it's something that we want to work with and try to understand. That's how it started, our interest from Marvila, and also to recognize there was a kind of memories of this working class that were totally avoided by the official statements of what is Lisbon and what is not. There was running a process of disurbanism, of ruin, so as you can see it, with all of this garbage, buildings like this. Also, this is national heritage, because from here the king saw for the first time, it's a kind of a belvedere, the king saw for the first time the train going to Porto, but it's like there. Now it's owned by an American fund, all of this plot. But with a great view and a great relationship with the river. Yeah, this is a river. It's amazingly wide, the Tagus River. Well, we started by this. We started by recognizing the associations that were in that area, recognizing the public plots that we have, recognizing well, this is the work that we, in fact, we are always using our tools of architecture to try to use it to get useful answers to the questions we post. And this was the area around districts that we wanted to work on. We started with some meetings. We started with one idea of having an association that we could never had because, well, we had so many efforts. At a certain point, we also worked a lot with people from social sciences, and on this group, we decided, okay, let's knock on each door and announce a general meeting of the neighborhood, so that on a Saturday, and I think we reached like 90% of the people living here, and it only appeared 2 persons of the neighborhood. So, and we thought, okay, we are not going to do these associations, but we are still, well, but in the first year we worked here, they were very complaining about this area because everyone was throwing garbage here. So, for example, contractors that had garbage to throw it, they will throw it here. This was a public plot and was with this relationship very nice with the river, but it was just like that. And they were asking because there was mostly people that were old people, so young people were there in the afternoon because it were their not nephews, I'm forgetting well, they were the grandparents of the grandchildren. Yeah, grandchildren. So they were asking us an intergenerational park where they could play their cards, but also they could stay with the kids around. We tried to organize it, and we didn't have much money on this funding, so we tried to organize a pavement and organize with the district to participate so that they could give the equipment to play, but it did never arrive though. However, on this Saturday, this was officially inaugurated, even though it's built for the last 2 years, so that the district takes care of it and gives this equipment. But it's something like that. However, it started by wood, and it started also, we had wood in the benches, but it was a process of vandalism, so it was all broken, and we used the wood that we have at a certain point this Christmas to do the Christmas tree, and we organized a Christmas party with the kids that were around. Well, I won't show this again, but then we arrived also because they were always talking, these people were always talking about this palace. This palace, on a working class neighborhood, this was the palace of the former landlord of the area. So this palace, it's before our earthquake. So it's probably from the 18th century. And they were always saying that this should be the headquarters of the district. This should be another used, and it was a totally, well, the building was like that, but with no use at all. It's a public building, but with no use at all. At a certain point, we also started to hear that it was supposed that the building was supposed to be built to be sold. And that's the thing we wanted to avoid, to start to avoid. So we ran for another financial support so that we can do an exhibition of all the things that we could get from the memories of the people that were living there, and we could show it on the building. It was approved, and we started, it was in a very poor conditions. Here we were, for example, with our engineering. We also had a team of architects that were building there. And we have our engineer trying to understand how to solve the problems of the ruins of the pavement. But at a certain point, we did found that we have a second pavement above. And as you can see, it's something that we still don't know what it is. It might be religious. That's the link we are following, but there was another building above the building we could see it. We didn't tell a thing to the people, to the neighbors, and the first day of the exhibition, they did found, well, they knew the palace as a former house of friends of them, because in this palace already lived 200 people, and they arrived there and they found a new building above. So that was a really funny situation. Another thing that we didn't plan only the exhibition, we planned also another thing, that a team from our studio will move and will be a local office when this exhibition will occur, so that we can do a study on the project, a participatory study on the project that we wanted and that the population, the inhabitants wanted for that building. That's how, oh, here you can see it much better, the two buildings. We just, well, that wall, it's from the 19th century. We just had to sustain it. That's our intervention, just to sustain it, to keep it. But you can see the 1 meter difference from one floor to another one there. And here is the office. We organize also a structure, or kind of a program. Well, the people asked us for a cultural program. They were quite engaged. They're saying, we want a cultural program that you designed. And so each Thursday we play a movie. So each Thursday a lot of people come and see a movie that we announce to the people. But we also have on Friday, we also present what we have been working in the week. So we have regular presentations on this. It happens to, at a certain point, we also felt that we need to call attention to this. So on last Thursday, well, sorry for the image that I wouldn't like to be so big, and I gave a lot of images of the building, but I don't know. But well, and it was on the national newspaper what to do to this palace. That was a very, because on this case we do need a mediatics effort so that we can also post questions publicly, so that we can have answers, not silences. And what was really interesting, because that I don't have images, because it occurred Saturday. Saturday, it was the last day of the exhibition, and we got a beautiful speech from the representative of the municipality saying that this will be a palace that is not going to be sold, and that is going to be something around what they proposed. We are going to apply to the municipality, well, the project we did with the people there, and they also, the politicians, did understand how engaged were the people, because it was quite emotional. There were a lot of speeches of the people there crying about all of this process that made them believe that they can decide about what is going to be happening in the palace. So I think we have a very good chance to decide that the decisions they made could arrive to the political level. So, and this is the last project that I'm going to show you. Well, probably it's the most well-known project that because of the prize of Arc Daily Prize, but. I'll start by showing you well, this is the situation. This is a situation of a neighborhood that I didn't know about it, even though, for example, I went a lot to that beach that it's on the other side of the buildings that you can see there. It's a totally non-visible shantytown neighborhood. Well, with a difference. Well, it's nearby Lisbon. It's not on Lisbon district. It's not on Lisbon municipality. It's on Almadas. It's on the other side of the river. But these people did not have tap water, so they have to walk 1 kilometer to get water to a public fountain, and they will have to bring it to their houses. And that was the main issue of this huge community. It's a community that is organized. It's very funny because it does not occur a lot in Portugal, when you have, for example, a community that is mainly culturally African, even though a lot of people already were born in Portugal, and a Roman community there. And normally what was really funny and really interesting of this process is that they could get together in an association. well, our work started, and you also can see it, one thing that I think it's quite relevant as urbanists is that you have a kind of a wall that houses there of that huge buildings are middle high class, so it's expensive area, and then they have no connections with the people that live in this shantytown. Well, we were invited by one university to do a workshop, and well, the main idea was. This is also important to say that area that you can see it was an agricultural and ecology area, so it's reserved. You cannot build on that. The first thing we told them was that well, I would say it afterwards. That is, from the beginning we started to say our group of the workshop decided, okay, we are not going to plan the future of this plot. We are going to work on the present of these people. So we organized the design of some benches and one football match that could get together, and it failed because our idea is that it could get together the people that lived on that towers that could come to play a game. We tried to, but it didn't happen, so we played a game. The people from the workshop played a game with the people from the neighborhood, which is quite relevant because this neighborhood has the problems of all these kind of neighborhoods in Portugal, high drug dealing, and also, well, kids have two kind of careers of starting to having money. The first one, most used, it's to sell drugs. The second one is playing football. And so we want to enhance the idea of the football, they enhance the idea. In fact, for example, Belenenses team, it has a lot of juniors from here, so it has a lot of people that comes from this neighborhood. There was a former football player, I think he's not playing anymore. He plays in the national team that came from this neighborhood that I can, Varela. He was a national team player, so he's the reference also. And his family is still living here. Well, after the workshop, they also told us, oh, because we in a certain way, they did understand more or less our project, and they didn't know about our work, and they came to us and say, oh, we need your help. But the big issue of them was was a non-architectonical thing. They need water, or they wanted to get water more close to them. And we said, okay, but that's not an architectonical thing. That's something that we can help you as citizens, so to protest, to write letters, to. But that's something that you can't. It's not an architectural issue. But then they came with this idea that came from them of a communitarian kitchen, because they also already have organized more or less the idea of eating together. Each one gave €1, and in the end of the day, in the afternoon, they grilled something. So there was already this thing. On the other hand, well, is it going to work? Well, this is a video. I think it's. I will also talk in between. This is another project that was occurring. The big issue was that, okay, we started by the municipality, by the contacts to the municipality, but the big issue was the money to support our work and to support the construction of this. We applied to a lot of fundings, we didn't get it. We applied for almost 2 years of fundings. And from one funding that we did not get, there was someone from one private institution, cultural institution, that is Fundação Carlos Gulbenkian, that saw the project, that saw the neighborhood and contacted us directly so that we could apply the project of construction. On this case, it's a totally different case. Some friends of us, well, a collective, both French and German collective, exists were doing a wood construction in one neighborhood nearby. Well, nearby 4 or 5 kilometers far from this, and they also knew about the project. And in the end, they gave us the wood so that we could start also the process. So this was the first. This was the demolition of Casa do Vapor. And with the wood, it also came one collective of architects, because we, Ateliermob, is doing mostly projects. But collective warehouse are architects also, but they also build, so they have this know-how. That's how we join efforts with collective warehouse, so with a co-authorship process to design the communitarian kitchen. So the end of a library is in the beginning of a kitchen. And these were the first meetings we had in our office with collective warehouse, with also the people from the Neighbors Association. One thing that we left pretty much clear to them, and it was, well, it was our goal from the beginning, is that we could not accept that that plot were constructed, because it was really interesting plots to agricultural things, and we did not accept that they live on that condition. So what we said is that if you want to do the fight for houses, for houses with conditions, we will be also with you. That's the thing that at a certain point was a huge tension with the other associations that were working with them, because there was a kind of aestheticization of the poor, saying that these people live in a very interesting situation, and that's something that we are always afraid of this process, when you see a lot of pictures of poverty and find it beautiful. So we were very cold on this. So we said, if you want to do the fight for new houses, we can also help you. And we use the communitarian kitchen to call attention to your problem. And that started this is the drawing that you cannot see much. It was really important, for example, that they decided the plot where to build the kitchen. And this decision was, they decided that the kitchen should be constructed in the area where people from outside went there to buy drugs. So because they wanted to occupy that area. So, and in fact, it had a huge, it decreased so much the drug dealing things, also because of the process of mediatization that I will show afterwards. But we started with, it took a lot of time. Well, with the municipality, always it ran quite well, the thing. But it took a lot of time, and we also had to pressure sometimes. So we started with the wood of the other house. We had still no funding, but we started this and just saying, please don't send us the police. And it started by doing the mailbox, because you can imagine how it was not organized, the post thing. Also in the participatory things, to try to make people engage in the process. On this case, it's to define the icon of the kitchen, how it would be, and the first structure here. And also they helped us a lot. For example, we didn't know much to do the foundation, so and they helped us in the beginning mostly. And this is the big day. This is the big day when the municipality goes there for the first time to the neighborhood well, not the municipality, but the politicians from the municipality, the vice president, the vice mayor, and also he announced that he will, because it was quite important that, okay, we could build the kitchen, but who is going to provide the water? And the municipality agreed on this meeting that, okay, we will give the water with for free to you. So that was a huge discussion, and also a political discussion in between the municipality, because there are some parties against it. But it made the municipality decide that if people are living in financial problems, they will pay the bill to the people. So they consider that water is a kind of a national resource that should be given to. And in fact, the United Nations recognized it 5 years ago, I think. Also, we have other companies that helped us. We were at a certain point. We were working with a company that were designing us. Well, not designing us, constructing one exhibition. That it's a huge company in Portugal that produces, for example, Al Jazeera's scenography, and we saw it. The things that they considered garbage, and we said, whoa, we're very interested on your garbage. So, for example, we have a very high-tech electricity there because it was given by them. It was going to be sent away, and this is the first party with the small part of the building, and this is the construction. But that, I won't show you much. This is well, the construction is also a process that we engaged people. The people, well, they were not very participatory on design because they were always asking for when are you going to have water? That was their main question. If we started to post questions about, oh, do you like more like this or like that? And what we do understand is that to have a participatory design process, you need that people have the basic conditions. And that's the thing that we learn also from this project. We had dozens of people working with us, coming from not much from Portugal, but coming from, well, Sweden, France, Germany, because at a certain point this was very mediatic in architectural terms, so people started to arrive and live here. It was really a crazy thing, because from one day to another, one neighborhood that in the beginning they told us not to go in without calling them first, so that they could come to the entrance of the neighborhood to pick us up. From one day to another, you could see really tall and blonde guys not talking in Portuguese, but interacting with everyone, you know. So that was a kind of an interesting process. That also made, for example, drug dealing to almost disappear on these days. Well, this is the final version of the kitchen, and this is you understand the scale of the neighborhood and also the construction of it. Here you also can understand what we say when we say that we cannot work on the preservation of these houses. We can just work on having this process of new houses. And this is the building, as you can see, very nice photos from Fernando Guerra. This is an important... This is the inauguration.
A água é nossa, é minha, vossa, é de cada de vós, não é da Câmara.
This is the council.
A Câmara é um meio, é um instrumento para criar melhores condições de vida às pessoas. É por isso que nós estamos na Câmara. O poder é isto. O poder serve para servir os outros. E quando não serve para servir os outros, é melhor não haver poder. Já temos água.
Well, right now, well, this I don't have any slide of it. This was the building of the year, the public building of the year of one really important mass media structure, which is Arcdaily, and we won. This award. It's done by election, by voting. Everyone that is, well, worldwide. And we don't know how much votes we had, but we know that there were 50,000. So there was a huge, massive votation, and for sure it had more than 1,000 votes. So it's really impressive, and that gave us the power also to say it afterwards when we won the prize. We knew that the municipality was already deciding the relocation, and we with the mediatic thing of this award, we use it also to become a little bit forward. So we announced also the relocation or the rehousing of these people, saying that the work was running quite well, and we do knew that there was going to happen something, and these people, and we were always saying that, which was not very normal in architectural awards, was that the big award that this kitchen can have, it's when it's dismantled and it's not more needed. So that's the thing in the statement. So this architectural is a tool so that we can call attention to the neighborhood, and right now we are already working on the new housing, and with them we are designing their future houses 700 meters far from here. Thank you very much. Ευχαριστώ.
Κύριε Σαράιβα, σας ευχαριστούμε θερμά για τη διαφωτιστική και ενδιαφέρουσα ομιλία σας. Επιτελείτε πραγματικά ένα πολύ σπουδαίο έργο και σας συγχαίρουμε ιδιαίτερα. Σας ευχόμαστε να συνεχίσετε αυτή τη θεσπέσια δραστηριότητα που έχετε αναλάβει, ιδιαίτερα σε πολύ δύσκολες συνθήκες από όσα μας περιγράψατε. Από ό,τι είδαμε, κυρίες και κύριοι, και από όσα μας περιέγραψε ο κύριος Σαράιβα, πραγματικά ζουν σε πολύ άθλιες συνθήκες κάποιες συνοικίες και το έργο που επιτελούν πραγματικά τους αξίζει ακόμα ένα χειροκρότημα. Thank you very much, Mr. Saraiva. Thank you. Εκλεκτοί προσκεκλημένοι, κυρίες και κύριοι, συνεχίζουμε τώρα με την απονομή των 3 βραβείων εις μνήμη Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη ως ταξιδιωτική υποτροφία ύψους 1.500 ευρώ έκαστη υποτροφία. Καλείται ο πρόεδρος του Τμήματος Αρχιτεκτονικής, αναπληρωτής καθηγητής Σοκράτης Στρατής, να προσέλθει στο βήμα για την ανακοίνωση των αποτελεσμάτων. Κύριε Στρατή.
Okay. I will continue in English and then we move to Greek. First of all, I wanted to thank the Paraskevaidis family for supporting the traveling scholarship for the students of architecture and to keep increasing the number of the scholarship. This year, we're really lucky to have 3 awards. I think traveling is, I'm just going to say a few words why it's important, this traveling scholarship. First of all, I think it's very much embedded in the architectural culture, traveling. And it's the moment when the young apprentices of architecture are exposed to not so familiar built environments and test their ability to keep renewing their knowledge. But at the same time is when they realize that growing architects cannot do without traveling. So it becomes part of the practice. So we can refer to the 19th century Beaux-Arts schools of architecture that when students will finish only after they're traveling, and also Le Corbusier's famous sketches of his traveler in Greece. When I was visiting the Berkeley University, the School of Architecture in California, I was really impressed by their prestigious traveling scholarships and how, in fact, the students themselves were transmitting to each other this very impressive knowledge. And I think that's where the Paraskevaidis traveling scholarship is contributing every year, and our kind of aim as Department of Architecture is to keep building on it. Just to say a few words about the years before, like in 2014, there was a traveling project by Εταιρείας that was about kinds of soft mobility and also autonomous organizations of communities. So she went to Amsterdam, to Christiania, I'm sure you know about it, in Copenhagen, and in North Evia in Greece. In 2015, the traveling project of Iraklis Papachristou was about issues of time and how that influences urban development in very large-scale urban environments, such as New York City. But at the same time, very small communities that had to be dislocated, as in the case of Kiruna in Sweden. Iraklis is half Swedish, that's why I think I was part of his, going back to his roots. Plus, in 2015, there was Antigone Chrysostomou, who walked along the most important pilgrimage route of Europe, all the way to Santiago de Compostela. I'm sure you know about that. And she experienced on foot the European landscape, together with a lot of other travelers. So I think it's just for you to get an idea, this richness of traveling that becomes the culture of the Department of Architecture, thanks to the Parασκευαϊδης Scholarship Awards. So this year we're going to have 3 winners, and I will just announce them in a while. But first of all, I wanted to say that we're organizing a workshop at the end of May, together with the final exhibition of the Department of Architecture, where the Παρασκευαϊδης Award travelers will share with the rest of the students their experience, and you're all invited. We will send you invitations back then. And I invite the rector and Mrs. Leoni Παρασκευαϊδού for the awards. Το βραβείο εις μνήμη Γεωργίου Παρασκευαϊδη απονέμεται στη φοιτήτρια του Τμήματος Αρχιτεκτονικής Νάσια Παντελίδου, Βομβάη, Πόλη Αντιθέσεων. Συγχαρητήρια. Το βραβείο εις μνήμη Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη ως ταξιδιωτική υποτροφία απονέμεται στη φοιτήτρια του Τμήματος Αρχιτεκτονικής Κατερίνα Παύλου μεταξύ Κοπενχάγης και Βαρκελόνης, συγκρίνοντας αστικά πολεοδομικά μοτίβα. Συγχαρητήρια, Κατερίνα. Και το τρίτο βραβείο, εις μνήμη Γεωργίου Παρασκευαϊδη, ως ταξιδιωτική υποτροφία, απονέμεται στο φοιτητή του Τμήματος Αρχιτεκτονικής Φραντζέσκο Ζάρου, γνωρίζοντας τους Αβορίγινες. Ο Φραντζέσκος πήγε στην Αυστραλία για να δει από κοντά αυτή την νέα σχέση. Συγχαρητήρια. Συγχαρητήρια σε όλους.
Συγχαρητήρια σε όλους, λοιπόν. Κυρίες και κύριοι εκλεκτοί προσκεκλημένοι, σε αυτό το σημείο έχει ολοκληρωθεί η 5η ετήσια διάλεξη εις μνήμην Γεώργιου Παρασκευαϊδη. Τις θερμές μας ευχαριστίες στην οικογένεια Παρασκευαϊδη για τη συμβολή της στην πραγματοποίηση αυτής της εκδήλωσης. Τέλος, ευχαριστούμε θερμά όλους εσάς που μας τιμήσετε απόψε με την παρουσία σας. Ακολουθεί η δεξίωση ακριβώς έξω από την αίθουσα που βρισκόμαστε τώρα και είστε όλοι ευπρόσδεκτοι. Σας ευχόμαστε καλή συνέχεια.